What was your approach to the movie soundtrack?
My approach? Well, we have a lot more resources at our disposal for the movie, like including live orchestra, which we got to record down in Nashville with 90-piece orchestra, a new cast of singers coming in to augment our existing cast of singers. So my approach was just, how can I make this bigger and better and more exciting than anything we've ever seen on the show?
Am I the only one who had questions prepared?
So the problem is it's Saturday morning, and everyone's like, I'm still sleepy. Why don't we have anything prepared?
Okay, fine, I'll keep going then.
Would you say that people who aren't fans of the show can still connect to your music?
That's the goal. That's the intention for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're saying you're not a fan of the show?
Can other the broader audience? Yes.
Well, the thing that I saw in the show and what initially drew me to it, aside from the show itself, was the fandom and the I've always been drawn to things that are a bit quirky and unusual, but also interesting. And that was the initial draw to the fandom for me. I was singing in the Navy at the time. I was touring the Eastern Hemisphere's singer for the 7th Fleet Band, and I saw that there were a lot of messages that the fandom spread that were extremely positive, and I believe that's my coping mechanism when things get negative, is to be positive, is to be the counter to that. If you want the world to change, be part of that change. That's kind of how I saw it, and I saw the fandom as a force that embodied that. And the lessons in the show kind of embodied that as well. And I wanted to take those messages and pass them on and spread them further. So while I did draw inspiration from the show, and while I did, a lot of my music was inspired by specific episodes and characters, and for the fandom that surrounded it, I also wanted to push it out to people who might not have been interested in the fandom or might not even want to be interested in the fandom, but could still benefit from those positive messages. And that's kind of always been my goal with all the music that I write.
Hey, well, else the guys home, or is it still me?
What can you tell us about your Patreon?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I only started it about 2 months ago, and it's been really fun. Basically, it's just a platform for people to support my music videos, specifically for that. Because it's just a way to push me with deadlines and stuff, because otherwise I get busy with other things. And
I know the feeling.
yeah, exactly. So it's just a good way to connect with dedicated fans too, and I've got a lot of interactive stuff. So there's like pledge levels where I do like a live chat with them every second week or so, sometimes every week if I have the time. And then I also do like a video live stream every 2 weeks as well for certain levels, and automatically every Patreon, it's just like $1 or up, I follow them on Twitter. So, and there's like a good messaging platform on Patreon, so people can ask me questions directly, and yeah, it's been fun. I've made like 3 really high quality music videos now because of that, because it's just like a platform that's specifically supporting those projects, and I've really been enjoying it. I think the fans have too, so yeah, go check it out if you want. You can choose what your limit is, and there's a bunch of cool levels, so yeah.
How difficult is it to sing in character?
It's not difficult anymore because I've just been doing it for such a long time. Because as I say periodically, I'm a glacier, right? Sure, I've been around, but I do have a background in music too, which is what I was going to go toward in composition actually. And I've sung too and done things, so it's not difficult from a basic level. If Daniel gives me the one song for a change, or whatever, and I'm looking at that, it's very easy for me to just do what I would do because I have the background. And as far as Spike's voice, just because I do it so often, the thing is that when you do a boy character, it's far more limiting because you have to stay in the character, and so the character's range is much smaller than your own natural range anyway, because you're holding that. So Daniel's awesome about, when we do that, finding where that range is, as would be the case with anybody in their voice. So not really a problem, it's just trying to keep the volume going and projecting while you're holding the character there's a bit of a limitation sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you, Michelle?
Yeah, it's also a limitation when you're trying to sing for multiple characters. It's much easier to differentiate between different voices when you're just speaking instead of singing, because singing you're constrained to a certain pitch and melody and timing. You can't slow down, you can't speed up, and depending on what part you are, you can't you can only try and make. There's only so much you can make one note sound different. You know what I mean? Because you can't actually change the pitch of it. You just have to sort of put a lower tone into it somehow. So I think maybe it was sometimes tricky when I was singing for both Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle. But yeah, same with Cathy. Like, especially with the show, we've just been doing it for so long. It's second nature.
Basically, you put in your 10,000 hours.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. And also with Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom, if we have a Cutie Market Studio song, we usually just put Apple Bloom on the low part and Sweetie Belle on the high part. So we actually could have like a higher pitch and lower pitch for both of them, just to really differentiate between the characters.
Although Claire suddenly became a really good singer.
Yeah, I know. And well, we're really
She took your job.
Yeah, well, no, I'm happy that she's doing it. Really, I am, because right from the start, I'm like, "Claire, you're a good singer. There's no reason why
Yeah,
you
she
can't be
didn't
doing
want to
this."
sing in the beginning, so it was great. Then Michelle took over, and then because Jason's prerogative is always like, if we can get the actor who plays the role to sing, even if, regardless of even if they're the strongest option necessarily, he wants that. I think that's the most authentic sound. So as soon as Claire reached an age where she was like, wait a second, we're all like, you can do this, you know. Then Jason put a lot of pressure on her to kind of step up and sing her part. So.
Yeah.
What was it like writing Best Friends Until the End of Time, knowing it was a joke song?
Well, that's okay. So there's a song that is definitely in its style. It's a little outside of the normal sound. Best Friends Till the End of Time was definitely, on that episode, we were discussing two options for songs. It was like, either we have a song that like Trixie sings with Starlight in the beginning, that's kind of like a core pony song about kind of like setting up the episode, or we do this like goofy song that was just a bunch of friends and how great this is, and that's going to set up this big joke where they've of course now gone 1 second over on their cool. So yeah, it's a bit of that was a big departure, and at the time I remember thinking, I don't know if this is going to work, but having seen the episode come out, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, for me it was pretty jarring because I'm like, wait, this came out of like nowhere, and then suddenly it's like, nice song, but the game's not over. It's like, oh my god, this whole like they played us good.
Yeah.
Why wasn't a real drum kit used for Rainbow Rocks?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good kit. It's a good sampled kit. It's an actual drum kit recorded. It's just we didn't play it live off the floor. And also Rainbow Rocks is a bit more of an electronic sound, so we were sometimes to get a little bit of a deeper kick bass, you want to use an electronic kit mixed with a live kit anyways. A lot of pop songs are done that way. So it was sort of a hybrid thing. That being said, my goal for this year is to take a lot of my favorite songs over the past 8 seasons and add, like re-record, reproduce them with some more live players, and maybe even sung out of character instead, and try to see, even if it's just a personal project, but hopefully maybe get Hasbro to re-release some stuff too.
I'll help.
Yeah, let's do it.
Was it a dream come true getting to sing on the official MLP mashup song?
Yeah, it was definitely very fun to do. I have done like a lot of different like music projects and stuff. So it was
Not like a dream come true.
It's the same old same. No, I'm kidding. It was cool to do, and it was neat to get to do a mashup of 2 songs that I had already known, like on an official Hasbro release. That was definitely nice. It was validating too, It's like, get to do some professional stuff in this arena.
You guys premiere that at Comic-Con, I think.
Yes,
right?
yeah. But yeah, that was definitely fun, and thank you.
You did a great job. I'm always trying to get Gabe in to sing on stuff, but they're restricted in having him sing on the pony specific songs.
Yeah. Hasbro's not yet. Yep.
Why that is, or are you allowed to tell?
I actually haven't really been given a reason, just that there have been times where there was something that maybe wanted to do, and then the powers that be kind of said no. So, it's a little frustrating, but there's other work, and I have been booking other work, and it's nice. If I could make an assumption, I would say it's probably because I'm kind of prominent in the fandom as doing fan-related stuff, and I think wisely, any large company is going to be a bit trepidatious about fandom involvement because once you open that door, that kind of opens the floodgates. It sets a precedent, and while I have been like a working professional even before the fandom existed, I do understand the concern.
Yeah.
So, is it disappointing? Yes. Do I understand? Yes.
Do you plan on releasing an album of your own?
Me?
Yeah, why not? You said you're a musician.
That's really funny you should say that because music really was where I came from, and that's what I intended to do. I intended to do film and TV documentary scoring because I wanted to combine my music with something meaningful, and I figured, well, in my 18-year-old mind at the time, that's what I thought would happen. So then I got sidelined into this just as a complete hobby. I didn't even know what voiceover was, so it took me in this completely different direction. And I kept thinking it was going to be temporary. Okay, okay, I'll do that. Sure, okay, yeah. And I'm trying, okay. And then so I've got the keyboard at home, and I got all the, what has to happen at home, and it's just rusting and rusting and rusting. And I'm like, so I hope one of these days to dig up some of the old stuff I was doing and maybe do that. But it's just too busy. I mean, I keep thinking, okay now. And then something happens, or something topples the world, or something, So the goal is to do that. The goal is to do that at some point, because I do have things that need to be dusted off and brought back.
You and me
We'll
both.
see.
I got like 5 guitars sitting at home, and I'm like, I should really pick those up and
Yeah.
clean them all.
And when you-
time.
And when you do, it's just like you go, why am I doing this? Because it's just, they're all doing it all the time, but it's just part of one of your lungs, and I've been working with kind of one and a half in a different way. I want to say, and I say this to him all the time because he's so busy, but I said that the one song that he did for the Times Era Changeling, I have had so much response, and not only from the fandom, but from the production team of Pony, from producers and like the people in the peripherals. Like they're all like, we were crying. And like when he first gave me the thing, I'm like, oh my God, this is, and there was some alteration, and then a full orchestra for Spike, like, at the same time was a little overwhelming. But then it was really, I thought that show too, combined with the music, with the writing, everything was just such a microcosm of what I remember My Little Pony to be in seasons 1 through 3. That heartfelt, everything was there, kind of thing was brought back to that one episode, and it just blew up. But I'm still getting comments, and like in no time we had 6 million hits on one thing, like just one little thing. So that was really nice because it gave me a chance to do that, but it also affected people. That's
I can add, I'll finish your question really quick. I'm working on developing two musical concepts and a TV show concept with Mike Vogel in LA, one of the producers of this series, that we're just doing on our own. So that would result in soundtracks and stuff, but we're just putting those together.